Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's Tuesday again, and I get to talk to you every Tuesday. So thanks for joining me live or later on if you're listening. This week is off to a great start so far. It is week 2 of school for you parents out there, and we are getting resettled into school drop-offs and pickups over here. And we're finding our rhythm. We're finding our routines again. And if you're a parent out there, you know exactly what I mean. That first couple of weeks of the school year where you're just kind of trying to find that rhythm again, right? It almost feels like a brand new year. So if you're in that boat too, I hope you guys are starting to find your groove and things are going well for you too. And honestly, we're seeing it and feeling it in the gym. Our parents are back. I'm going to pause for a second. I just got a note. We need to flip my camera. I'm so sorry if you guys can't see this. 1 second. Or if you can see it, it's just a little backwards here. Yeah, I see. It's mirrored. Okay, hang on a second. Can I remember how to do this? Settings. Video. Yeah, is that it? Yeah. Yep. You can read my whiteboard now. Thank you. Yeah, so, if you are a parent in the gym, we see you. We feel it. My husband and I, owners of OxFit, we are there with you. But it is so cool to see the energy is coming back. The parents are filling up the gym again. We have a mom's class at 8:15 every day, Monday to Friday during the week. And it is filling up again. The energy is contagious. It is awesome. It's one of my favorite times of the year, really, to coach, just to see everyone after their summers and catch up. So yeah, wonderful time of the year. We are back, and the energy and the vibes are high. For anyone listening who doesn't know me, I'm Lauren. It's on my shirt here, if you can see it. I am one of the owners, co-owner of OxFit. I'm mostly right here in Grant Park. I do also coach weekly in East Atlanta Village in our mom's class there. And I coach a lot of women in general, a lot of you moms really kind of juggling toddlers and full-time jobs and about 4 other people's schedules as well, besides your own. And the question I get more than any other really isn't about our workouts, or the meal plans. It's some version of, okay, but what actually is this program all about? So this week, I am actually in a training working on getting better at explaining what we do here at OxFit and communicating that in a way that means something to you. And it's made me realize something too. A lot of the time when I talk about our program, I default to kind of the laundry list of things that we do because, you feel like sometimes you need to kind of impress and list out everything, right? And we do a lot here. Our team works hard. We do strength training. We do endurance training. We coach people on their nutrition. We do check-ins with clients one-on-one. We program behind the scenes based on our clients' goals. There is a whole laundry list of things that happen behind the scenes, right? And it can sometimes feel like we're reading off a menu, and that's fine, right? But it's not really the point. That is a snooze fest. It's boring to people, right? It's not why they want to sign up and work with us. It's not their why. It's not why people are doing it. Because the truth is, the biggest changes really that I see in people have almost nothing to do with the laundry list of things that we do, right? They have to do with what happens in someone's head, the mental clarity and strength and the mindset changes that they start to adapt or adopt. The beliefs about who they are and what they're capable of. And that's really the magic of what we do as coaches at OxFit. And there's a quote that I really, really think hits and touches on this well. And that is that, and it's simple, but not easy to do or implement. Behavior follows belief. And just let that sit for a second with you. Your behaviors follow what you believe. What you believe about yourself, what you believe about your goals, what you believe about who you are and what your identity is. That's actually more important than what you're doing, because most people are not believing before they achieve. They think it works the other way around. Once I achieve it, then I believe it. Then I believe I'm capable of it. Then I believe I am that. But it's backwards. Belief has to come first, right? Before you can see it, touch it, feel it, be it, do it. And I want to give you an example of what I mean, because it sounds a little abstract, right? Until you see it in real life. And so I'm going to really like break this down super simple, especially for those parents out there who I talk to a lot. So think about a kid, think about your kid, right? And this is often one with this is one that will hit to parents with young toddlers, right? Oftentimes kids at some point in their little young early childhood want to be an astronaut. They are really curious about space and what astronauts are, right? So say you have a 5-year-old and they want to be an astronaut and they're talking about being an astronaut. And they have obviously zero qualifications to become an astronaut. No training, no actual like rocket ship, no NASA application. They're 5, but watch what happens when they start talking about the fact that they want to be an astronaut, right? They start acting like an astronaut in the house before they've ever done anything to earn it, right? They put on a helmet made out of a colander in the kitchen. They build a rocket ship out of Amazon boxes or couch cushions. They count down 3, 2, 1 and blast off across the living room. In their minds, they are an astronaut. They're not waiting until it's true to start acting like it's true, right? The belief comes first that they're an astronaut, and then their behavior starts to follow right behind it. And they might take it really far and someday become an astronaut, right? Same thing with like pretending like they're professional basketball players. They're shooting hoops. They're shooting lots of hoops. All of a sudden they're getting really good at it. You're putting them in a league. You're putting them, in a club, and they just take it from there. So actions are going to follow their beliefs. And somewhere along the way, most of us lose that as adults, right? We get more realistic. It's just the reality of having more responsibilities, right? We wait until we have proof before we let ourselves believe something about who we are. But I actually think that a majority of us, right, need to go back to being more like a kid and embracing that inner kind of innocent belief that says, I'm going to be this before there's any evidence for it yet. And then you just start taking the steps, even the small little pretend ones until it's actually not pretend anymore. So how the heck does this relate to what I'm actually going to talk about today? I want to talk about our coaching program and really get into how it works, not just the laundry list of items that we do, but the actual process and the why behind it too. Because this is the question I get asked constantly, usually by someone standing in my gym, kind of looking a little skeptical, about the process and this coaching program, like lingo that's getting thrown out there, right? And we get asked, like, what actually is this coaching program and what makes it work? These guaranteed results you are promising me, right? And I get that skepticism, right? And that question, because on paper, coaching sounds simple. You work out, you eat better, someone checks in on you, right? Cool. Thanks. I could have told you that, right? This is what goes through a lot of people's minds, right? It seems simple. But here's the thing. If it were that simple, everyone would be doing it already, right? On their own, for free. And we know they're not. You're not. If everyone could do this alone, I wouldn't have a business. My husband wouldn't have a business. Nobody would need a coach. So today I want to actually open up the hood, and I'm going to map out right here on this whiteboard back here that now we can read the exact process that we use at OxFit. I will talk a little bit about the laundry list, the formula, keeping it a little bit higher level, the recipe, whatever you want to call it, for how we take someone from I used to feel strong to actually feeling that feeling and believing it, feeling capable, confident, and proud of themselves again. And it really comes down to 3 things. So let's go through them kind of one at a time and break them down. And at the end of this, I'm going to use some real clients too to walk you through it. So obviously the number one part of this is fitness. Okay. So let me write this out for you. Now that I flipped my camera a little, I'm going to have to move this around. Okay. I think we can see that. Okay. So the first part of the OxFit formula is, of course, going to be fitness. Okay. The number one piece. Hopefully y'all can see that. So fitness is really like the front door for this formula, okay? It's the thing that people sign up for, right? It is the sexy part, right? The workouts, lifting, getting your hands on equipment. People want to get stronger, they want to move better. They want their clothes to fit differently. They want to lose some weight. They want to recomp their body. They don't want to be winded chasing their kids up the stairs. They want to be a strong, independent person that's healthy for the rest of their lives. But here's what most people get wrong when they try to do this on their own. They treat working out like it's one thing. It's not. Real fitness programming is actually a stack of decisions. Well, what are we training? In what order? At what intensity? For how long? And how does that change week to week? So you keep adapting and your body keeps changing instead of plateauing, right? So the way this works at OxFit is it's periodized programming. We're not just like throwing random workouts at you. We're really building strength as the base, layering in conditioning and endurance work as well, and then building in recovery and mobility work so your body can actually adapt instead of breaking down and overtraining. And that's the difference between working hard and actually working smart and working well. Okay, so let's jot this down here. So we've got at the foundation of our fitness program, we have strength, number one, right? And if you are a member at OxFit, then you know that our first cycle every year starts with strength. And then we layer on endurance. And then we also layer in there how to recover and how to improve your mobility too, right? So your body can adapt and keep going. So strength, endurance, recovery, and mobility, and then continue that cycle to build on it, right? Okay, but programming isn't just what happens inside our 4 walls, right? Throughout the year, we build in events. We're building in competitions, challenges, races, opportunities for you, that tie directly into your training. Whether that's a DECA competition, whether that's a high rocks race, a beach brawl fitness competition. These aren't extra credit for the hardcore people, right? They're built into the program on purpose because having a big, slightly scary goal on the calendar changes how you show up to every regular class in between. If you have a goal that you're working on, right, it's going to change your why you're coming. Suddenly you're not just working out, you're training for something. And that goal is what keeps you locked in on the days that you don't feel like it. And honestly, it makes the whole process a lot more fun too and enjoyable. So you want to keep showing up. And this is where a coach earns their keep, you guys. Not because you can't lift a weight by yourself, but because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know when to push and when to back off. You don't know if that shoulder tweak means that you need to stop or maybe adjust some movements a little bit. But a coach does. And that's the fitness piece of this program, okay? And how a coach really brings some extra value to helping you understand how this fits into your life, the feelings that you want to feel, after 8 weeks of working together, and your specific performance goals and how your body is responding to the workouts in the gym every day and every week. Okay, the second piece. Now here's where A lot of fitness programs actually just stop, and this is where we don't at OxFit. Because you can have the best training program in the world, and if nutrition isn't dialed in, you are leaving most of your results on the table. We're doing you a disservice if we don't offer you nutrition coaching, and this isn't just about a meal plan, right? Meal plans don't work for long, right? They don't teach you anything, actually. They're just something to execute on. The second life gets messy, that plan will fall apart if you just have a meal plan to follow, right? What we know actually works is nutrition coaching. Teaching you how protein, energy, and fueling actually affects your training and your recovery. Building habits that fit your actual life, not just some fantasy version of your life, where you meal prep every Sunday for 3 hours. If you're a busy parent, we know that's not going to work for you. It may in week 1, and then the plan's going to fall apart. So we build in flexibility, because a nutrition plan cannot survive, right? Or a nutrition plan that can't survive, right? A big work trip, right? Or a birthday party out, or a vacation is not going to be sustainable, because life's, right? And there's always going to be a trip. There's always going to be a work trip, and so it's just a diet with a deadline. If it does not allow you the flexibility to still get results when those things happen and pop up in your life, so we pride ourselves in actually doing nutrition coaching, something that's sustainable. And so how this works is, so from the nutrition side of our formula, taking up a lot of space here today, but we have firstly education, right? We need to understand what is your life like, right? And then we need to educate you on why you need to be changing things, right? We're not just going to hand you something and say, here, go do it. Good luck. We need you to adopt it, want to be excited about it, right? We need you to buy into it and build this together. So education is really the foundation of this, and then on top of that, we build habits around it, right? If we're not stacking things onto behaviors that you're already doing, then we're not able to anchor really any positive changes in your day that are going to stick and help you get real results that will sustain over those moments when life's, and a kid gets called out from school, or a work trip gets thrown on your calendar last minute. All right. And then that's why at the base of it is flexibility. It has to be flexible, even if there's a week where we're like, okay, our goal is to maintain results this week, right? We know that that's better than falling off entirely or setting the bar too high so that then you fall off for weeks and it takes you 6 weeks to get back on the plan. All right. So this is where I get, excited and coaching people and not worried when someone tells me that, mid kickstart, hey, I've got a wedding in 2 weeks, I forgot to tell you, or we're going on a trip and I don't know how I'm going to actually eat and sustain this plan. Like, I love that challenge, right? Like, that is exciting to me. And I know our whole team as coaches, and that might sound backwards, right? But stay with me here. Like, that's not a threat, to the results at all. That is a coaching moment. That is an opportunity for us to actually coach you, not just hand you a plan and say, here, do this, hope for the best. But if a trip or an event can derail you completely, the real issue was never the trip, right? It's that you didn't have the tools or the belief to navigate it. And then I'm not doing my job as a coach. So we work through it together. We figure out how to still show up for yourself in the middle of real life, not some perfect version of it. And on the other side of that, right, you don't just survive the trip, but you come back knowing that you can handle anything that life throws at you mid-program, right? And that's not a setback, that's growth. And those are the clients that later on tell others, just get started, right? Don't worry about that event that's going to be in the middle of it. Don't wait 4 weeks just because you have a trip coming up. There's always going to be something like that. And that's exactly what we're here for as coaches, helping you believe that you can do it no matter what life throws at you, and then actually doing it. This is the piece that turns like I worked out today into like I'm actually changing. This is the difference. This is the differentiator at OxFit. All right, so number 3 here is going to be right at the bottom. Accountability. So the third part of this formula is accountability. And this is the one that people underestimate really the most. And it's honestly the glue that holds the other 2 pieces here, fitness and nutrition, together, right? If you've ever had a gym membership where you just signed up and it was one of those memberships where you're responsible for signing yourself in and building your own schedule and, eating whatever, like a month in, that when life, there's no one checking in on you, right? There's no one coaching you. There's no one pushing you to show up. You can easily drop off, right? And it's been 3 months since you've been. And that, is something that we hear often, really often. So the accountability piece, don't underestimate it. And here's the truth. Almost everyone already knows what to do. The information's out there, right? Move more, eat better, sleep well. None of that's a secret. The gap is not information. The gap is the follow through, right? Action, behavior. Okay. So accountability is number 3. And it really is, this worked out that I'm writing it below. I envision doing columns here, but it is the glue that makes these all stick and work. It is the reason you get the results. And this is why, right? And I mean, everyone, no matter how disciplined you think you are, can benefit from a coach. I have a coach, right? My husband has a coach. We are the owners of OxFit. We played competitive sports in college and after college, right? We are very disciplined, but we know we need coaches to help hold us accountable, right? Not because we're weak, not because we're not disciplined, right? Because we're humans and we're parents as well, right? Who are juggling a lot of things on our plate. And humans are wired to keep promises to other people. It's just a fact, right? We keep promises to other people more reliably than promises to ourselves. It just is what it is. When someone is expecting you, checking in on you, celebrating your wins, it feels good, right? You show up on the days that you haven't shown up for yourself, maybe, because it's in the plan and they're expecting you to be there. And this isn't a character flaw, right? That's just how motivation actually works. Accountability isn't a crutch. It's the multiplier on everything else that you're doing. Okay, so that's the formula, right? That is the formula right there, you guys. So before I move on, I do want to just touch on, to summarize the accountability piece. How we do this is through our number 1, check-ins, okay? With your coach, right? And then we're also going to do this because we have an amazing community. Okay, and then the last piece of our accountability is consistency. So all of this helps you stay more consistent because you have a coach in your corner. You have people at the gym that are expecting you to be there. You have other people in the coaching program with you, right? All of that compounds on top of each other. And that is the multiplier, right? That is going to get you incredible, incredible results. So that's the formula. And, fitness builds the body. Nutrition fuels the change, right? The actual results and changes you want to see, whether it's gaining 5 pounds of muscle, losing 10 pounds of fat, right? And then the accountability portion of it, make sure it really actually happens and continues to happen, right? It's not just a short fleeting thing. That momentum is going to keep going because you have someone in your corner. And when all 3 of these things are working together, that's when people don't just get results. They get that feeling they're looking for. They get that confidence. They get that phrase they wanted to hear themselves say at the start: I am strong. I feel strong again. I am capable. They can say that they're proud of themselves and actually believe it, right? So these 3 things here all meet together for the real results. Okay, that's how you get results. All right. So I'm going to erase all of this. I could keep talking about this theory all day and why these 3 things combined together, are magic. But I want to show you what it actually looks like really quickly in real life, because the formula is the same for everyone, right? But the journey actually never looks the same twice. And that's where the magic of having a coach really happens, navigating that. What works best for, this 40-year-old mom is not what works best for this 55-year-old, busy working professional. Okay, so that's where I want to kind of go with this next, is telling you 2 real client stories to put this into perspective on how we get people the feelings that they want, right? And how we get them believing in themselves again. And then once you have that belief, the momentum continues. The momentum continues and you become unstoppable and the results don't stop coming, right? The belief is the magic. And we are here to help you get that initial belief. And then once you have it, then together it's dynamite, really. So, okay. So I'm going to tell you about 2 clients here, 2 very different clients that I actually am currently working with. So they've gotten amazing results, such amazing results in the 8-week coaching program that they decided to continue working with me, and have identified some bigger goals along the way. Okay. So the first client is Erin. Okay. So we're going to write this out for you. So we've got Erin, and then we've got John, my second client. Okay. So big difference there already, right? We have a woman and we have a man. Okay. So automatically these 2 are treated differently, right? We have template approaches, but automatically knowing that I have a man and a female, a male and a female, I'm already treating them differently, right? The whole program is going to be different between the 2 of them. So let's talk about how and why. So the first client, Erin, came to me wanting to get back into shape after having her second kid and feeling like she had kind of hit a plateau. She was working on her own, losing some weight in the gym. And things just kind of felt like her, they stalled, her results stalled. And she also has a big birthday coming up this year. And she wants to feel amazing. She wants to, have more energy. She wants to feel like herself again in her clothes, feel confident in her clothes. She wasn't really chasing a number on the scale. She was chasing a feeling of confidence that she used to have. And somewhere, in the young toddler years of having 2 boys, she lost that, right? And sort of felt like, man, I need some help here, right? Things aren't changing in the way I want, and I'm not feeling the way I want to feel. So her fitness program looked different, obviously, to John's, automatically, different genders, different ages, different seasons of life, 1 parent and 1 dog dad. So lots of different things that they're juggling. And, her program initially didn't necessarily have a big performance goal of any sort attached to it, right? Erin's fitness program was to chase a feeling and confidence in her body. Okay, so we're going to write that out here. So we defined it differently, right? So feel strong and confident in her body. And so to do that, we started with a phase 1 approach where we were easing into things so that she could have some wins early on, right? And not feel too much resistance automatically, or not feel overwhelmed, overstimulated. She has 2 toddlers, so I'm not going to throw her a full set of macronutrients and advanced nutrient timing right away. That doesn't make sense for Erin, right? She is a busy mom with a lot on her plate. her nutrition coaching wasn't about really restriction. It was about relearning how to fuel a body that had gone through a lot, that was really busy, that was full all day long with being a busy full-time working mom, juggling pickup and drop off schedules, right? And so I wanted her as her coach to feel good, nourish herself with good, whole, clean foods, but not restrict herself and not worry about weighing and measuring food right away. Okay. So that got her results. It did. And it built her momentum so that she started feeling really good early on. And her accountability check-ins were often pretty quick because she's busy. Some weeks we missed them, and I was just dropping her text messages to check in on her and, passing by at class to do a quick check-in. And that was fine. We found different ways to celebrate her and to measure progress. And some weeks it was celebrating that she was only having 1 glass of wine instead of 3 on a Saturday night, and some weeks we were celebrating, the fact that she wanted to skip a workout really badly because she was so stressed out and had so much on her plate, but she didn't because she knew she, at the minimum, right, had to show up 3 times a week and eat good, clean food, so those were big wins for Erin. And that is why Erin started to feel so strong and capable and good in her body. And that led to Erin now setting bigger goals for herself. So from the nutrition side of things, I'll be quick with this. Just eat clean. Just eat real food, right? Drink water, limit alcohol. And then from the accountability side, it was quick check-ins, easy access. I actually started to reduce the amount of tracking and logging that she had to do with her food because she had so much already on her plate, right? And so we adapted the program to her. And now, so results for Erin, right? First, momentum and the feeling and the belief in herself again, that her body could change and that she could feel capable and strong and confident, right? And that she didn't hit a plateau and that her results had not hit a ceiling. They were still unlocking, right? So first layer of results were, she lost 5 pounds and felt amazing and more confident in her clothes, okay? So down 5 pounds. Now that might not be the number that she wanted, maybe overall long-term ideal weight loss goal, right? But she wasn't sure if she could continue to lose weight. So that was a huge win. Confident in her clothes and in her body and in her strength and athletic ability. So what that led to was a second round. So we continued working together, and now Erin has identified some huge performance goals. She is competing in a CrossFit competition in 2 months' time. Gosh, maybe less than that now. So we are doing a fitness competition together. And again, that was not something that Erin had identified on her own. That is not Erin's why. This is not why Erin feels amazing and, is losing weight and all of that. Erin started to believe in herself and the ability and capability of her body. She changed her mindset, and now she is setting bigger goals for herself and having fun along the way. So super proud of Erin and Erin's story, but that looks completely different to the second client that I'm going to go through. John, right? John wants to improve his endurance. He has big goals. He came to me because he has a great strength foundation, but he wants to do High Rocks in 2027. He wants to do DECA coming up at the World Congress Center in November, and he wants to crush it. He wants to feel strong and capable, and he wants to push across that race line and get a time that he is super proud of. All right. So John has some big goals here. Fitness, starting out, big High Rocks goal, right? Build endurance, feel amazing, cross that finish line strong. Okay. So what that means is I started John out in a completely different place to Erin, right? His goal was to compete and perform. He knew what he wanted. He had a specific goal and he was ready to get locked in. His fitness program is built around specific conditioning benchmarks, race simulation workouts. His nutrition coaching is dialed in towards fueling performance and recovery around specific training sessions and windows throughout the day. He is doing intermittent fasting, and then because he wants to lose some weight to be able to push and move faster on race day. So he's burning some fat and he's building muscle, and he is getting results based on his performance goal, right? His accountability check-ins are pretty frequent and they're pretty detailed, right? Because that's what he wants. That's what he needs. He has a date on the calendar of November 9th where he knows he's going to be racing. And so I'm here to help get him ready, right? So nutrition, we are doing some intermittent fasting. We are actually also weighing and measuring his protein targets. And we are doing some very detailed accountability check-ins, right? To track his progress, to make sure he is ready for that race day, okay? And so 2 completely different people, different goals, different starting points, different programs really entirely, right? But here's what's identical, okay, between these 2. Can you see this? Yeah. Right? Momentum, results, pride, the feeling of I did something I didn't think I could do. It was scary, but I told someone I wanted to do it. I believed that they were going to help me and it was possible, right? And now I'm building the momentum to do it. So momentum, pride, confidence, amazing. Just amazing stuff, right? So both of them in their own way built unstoppable momentum, because once you get one win, you believe the next one's possible, right? And once you believe that, you show up differently. That's the recipe working, regardless of what it's applied to. And honestly, this is my favorite part of the whole thing, because somewhere along the way, fitness culture made all of this kind of sound like a punishment. Grind, suffer, earn your food, right? Hate yourself into a better body. That's not what this is. This is genuinely fun. These 2 people, completely different goals to completely different processes, right? Started believing in themselves and having fun with their fitness and their results, and enjoyed getting more energy, right? It's fun to hit a lift, right, that you couldn't do 3 months ago. It's fun to have people in the room cheering for you. It's fun to look back at a habit tracker and see 3 weeks of consistency that you didn't think you had in you, right? And so momentum isn't just a fitness concept. It's a life concept for enjoying the process, right? Once you prove to yourself that you can follow through on something hard, that spills into everything. How you show up for your kids, how you show up at work, how you talk to yourself, and the mindset that you adapt for everything. And that's the why behind all of this. It was never really about the workout. The workout is just the vehicle. So if you are listening to this and thinking, okay, I know what to do, I just haven't done it, that's exactly who this program is for. It is the gap between knowing, right, and actually doing. The information's out there, right? But can you actually act on it? Be the person, behave on it, right? That's literally what we built OxFit to close, is that gap. So if you're ready to stop trying to figure this out alone, right, and want the actual formula, fitness, nutrition, accountability, all working together, email Lauren at ox.fit or head to the link in the bio in the description below this YouTube podcast. And, let's build your momentum together. I would love to. See you guys next week.